preparing, it says.
Happy Friday, TGIF. How you doing today?
I am doing great. And it's like so funny, Laura. We both have red on because we discussed this because, I'm not even sure, but between the two of us, we talked a little bit back and forth about what our topic was going to be today, as we always love to do. And we're always looking for topics. And if anybody ever has a topic they want us to talk about, please let us know. But isn't it ironic? Like, what is today? Today is American Heart Association Wear Red Day.
Nice. Exactly. Isn't that amazing?
It's so crazy. So anyways, what's on your mind today, Laura? I know we got one.
Like Deb said, it's Heart Healthy Month. And I mean, what a better month to do it than to do it now because of the whole thing with Valentine's Day. You think of Valentine's Day, you think of red hearts. So, it is the leading cause of death, heart disease. And, we kind of take it for granted at times, everybody, you don't have time for this, you don't have time. But, you need to actually go and get tests done. They don't have to be elaborate tests, but we're going to talk a little bit about the different things that we could do to help our heart. I just want to give you one example, and not that I'm using myself, but I have a lot of medical issues, and a lot of my medical issues are because for so many years, I was so busy with my kids and my family, I put my health off and the back burner. I didn't have all the tests that I should have had. I found out I was a diabetic and didn't do what I was supposed to have. So now I'm paying the price. And I think that happens to a lot of us. We don't follow through because we don't have time. But you know what? If we don't take time for ourselves and do these healthy things, we'll never be able to move on in our lives and be there for our families. So it's important. So, Deb, you want to go on from there and talk a little bit more about the heart disease?
Absolutely. I want to bring this up to a point too, everybody, that today could be the first day of getting yourself back on track. Right. Okay, because here's a perfect example. Okay, and you're being very honest with everybody, and you're saying that you haven't. And you know what? That's a lot of people. And it doesn't mean even if you're doing what you're doing that you're doing everything perfect. If you do something, remember today we talk about this is like, 2022, the best year of your life, a journey of getting yourself better. Just make yourself the best version you can of yourself. And it doesn't have to be overnight, and it can be one step at a time. Okay. So you know what? Another thing we want to also focus on, guys, is that we're talking about being older, but it's not even just older. It's for the younger. Start the kids off right. Start them eating correctly. We just made a big thing lately, like in the last, I don't know if it's been a couple months, but my daughter said, absolutely, Mariano cannot have McDonald's. Okay, sorry guys, but we're like, Chick-fil-A is a better actual pick for whatever, So we are a lot of what we put into our bodies a lot of times. We need to get the exercise, we need to get the water and all this stuff, but I think we just really need to be aware, and we need to realize that some of the things that we're doing can actually be a negative to our overall health. Okay. So, first of all, Lori and I are doing number one. We're wearing red today. So I want you to encourage you that if you are right now wearing a different color, go grab something red, even if it's a scarf. Okay. And try to wear that today. And if you see somebody wearing red, you might be like, hey, good job. You're wearing your heart healthy color today. And they're probably going to look at you like, what are you talking about? I wore red because I picked it out today. But you could say, oh, well, this is the first step. I hope you're taking care of yourself. And they'll probably look at you like you are out of your mind, but so what? Because maybe they needed to hear that. Honest to God, like you're in the grocery store today or wherever, Right. But so Laura, with that, do you want to carry on to anything next?
Yeah, well, the next one on our list, it says teach life-saving CPR. Well, I think you have to have a certificate for that. But you remember in high school, we had to take those CPR classes and stuff, I think this is a good time. And really, it is a great time to go ahead and refresh that. Well, I'm sure because of the COVID and stuff, they're not doing a lot of those classes, especially the breathing. But I bet you if you go on YouTube and stuff, you can look up how to do it again, and it'll refresh your memory. It's really important that you know how to do that. Because when an emergency comes and you need to do that and help people, you need to know what to do, you know. And again, for like Debbie and I, we've been out of school for over 40 years. So I know I took a class once after that, but what a great thing to do. We don't think about that, you know. At night when we're sitting around and kind of bored, we could go on YouTube and look it up and watch how to do that again. You know, you don't have to necessarily be certified for that, do you?
Well, let me just say this, and that's just not to like say, but I am certified. And here's the thing. No, because you know what? I coached volleyball. I had a Girl Scout troop. I made a point of doing that because you should. But think about it, guys. Don't do it because you're doing something like that. You should do it for your family and friends so you know how to react to the situation. Because what they do is they teach you how to keep the situation under control. Make sure somebody's calling 911. Make sure somebody's doing this, you know, and all this. And I do know a Girl Scout leader that had her kids on an outing and there was a kid choking. And they literally teach you how to do that, you know, choking method. And this woman saved this girl's life. I mean, so there's a lot of stuff. But I also want to say that the new machines that I got trained on that defibrillator machine. Okay, so literally when you open that up, if God forbid you need to use it and it's on the wall and you go grab it, it talks to you and tells you what to do. Wow. So like God forbid someone had an issue, it says, put these here, push this button, and it assesses the body. It's insane. So I can't, and I do know that they are doing CPR classes now. They are doing stuff, you know. Yeah, it's not expensive. You could go to your fire department and look it up, or your park district.
Oh, that's a great idea. You know why? It is good to know that stuff. And so could you buy one of those defibrillators to have in your house?
I think it's a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like I do. I think they're really a lot of money, but I could be wrong. But it's something to find. You know what? If somebody knows that's listening to this, please in the comments, tell us, let us know. You know, we want to get more interactive with our audience, right? We want people to help us out here because remember, Lori and I are two crazy chicks that pick a subject to talk about and we do not know everything.
Right. We're not experts at anything. So, so we want input. If somebody's a doctor, they could tell us too. I am so excited about that because that's going to be one of my goals. Because, you know, that's a great thing to have, you know, and they teach you the choking stuff too, correct?
Totally. And you know what? It's so good to know because even for your own self. Now, this is a good tip, you guys. One of my clients was telling me that she was driving in the car. And you know us busy, crazy people, sometimes we're eating in the car, which I'm guilty of too, okay? She was eating in the car and she literally started to choke. She's behind the wheel. She pushed her body against the steering wheel. I don't know how exactly she did it, but she ended up getting it out. Thank God. But she knew what to do. So, I mean, there's a lot of little tips they'll teach you. And you know what? We'll talk a little bit about this later, but I bet you at Lifetime, Lori, they have them there. They may do a class there, and that would be smart.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
I have little issues with choking too because my throat has a habit of sucking food in. So that's good to know. That's something I'm going to do today is look into. Okay, so encouraging healthy living. You know, we've talked about this many times. We talked about the food thing, but healthy living could be a lot of different things. And, you know, I mean, we're working on that here at home. That's my goal this year to be able to get myself back to where I used to be, even better. And with that, Debbie, you want to say something more about it?
Well, you know what? With the healthy living and everything like that, I think that the healthy eating corresponds with the healthy heart. So like I always like to use this analogy that if you were driving your car and you got the dashboard on the car and you're not putting the gas or the oil in or not getting the tune up or whatever, rotating the tires or whatever, is that car really going to run the way it should? Okay, you know? So if you don't do the right things. Now, are we all guilty? Heck yeah. I love my chocolate, guys, and I love my red wine. Okay, that is just like I love those two things. But do I make sure that my balance is there? I'm not perfect, but I've taken this year of trying to really do better balance. And if you're eating right, you know, so it all starts in the kitchen, you guys. It really does, because we have to eat right. you know?
Right.
And it doesn't mean that you can't have some of those other things, but there, you know, there's some really good ideas that you can get on. Go to American Heart Association website, you know, go there and it'll talk about like heart healthy diets, you know.
Definitely.
But really it's just all over balanced, smart eating, you know.
Right. It's really important and stuff. I mean, you don't think about it, but it really affects every part of your life. It affects your mood. And, you know, there's so much things going on in this world, and we got to try to keep ourselves as healthy as possible, especially for our children. You know, it's just a lot of things have, well, I'll give you an example. You know, before the whole COVID thing happened, everybody was running around all over the place, going to work, dropping the kids up, blah, blah, blah. And the kids were always eating on the run. Okay. And like McDonald's and all the other fast food stuff. Well, then the COVID hit, you know, and we didn't go out. Well, that's an opportunity to actually cook good food for your kids. It's amazing how much kids like vegetables if you make them a certain way.
Right.
I think we like vegetables because it's different, because they're so used to all the fast food stuff. And, you know, with the air fryers and everything now, you can make some cool nutritious food for the kids in there. And, you know, it's just, we have to go back in time to try to get everything right for us to be healthy.
Right.
Our mind's healthy. And that. So, you know, with that, we're going to talk a little bit about the next one we have here is get people moving. Yeah. I'm excited about this because I have a program with my insurance company. It's called Silver Sneakers, and it's for seniors or people with disabilities. And my insurance will pay for me to go to a health club that has silver sneakers. And, you know, I've just been going to a regular one that had pool and that. Well, then I started doing some research and found out that I could go to Lifetime Fitness. If you're not in the Chicago area, I think they're all over the country.
I think they are. Yeah, I think they are.
Lifetime Fitness is like the ultimate of health clubs. I mean, when I think of Lifetime Fitness, I think of you're going on vacation into this major spa. So we're starting next week, and my boyfriend got it on his too. So what you need to do, okay, and we talked about this, Deb and I, you need to find out if your insurance will pay for a health club for you. And, you know, you call the member services and find out, and they'll tell you which ones will pay for it. Isn't that amazing? We're getting $100 off a piece a month. That's what Lifetime is to go to the health club. And it's just great. It's just absolutely great. And you got to keep moving. And I know that, you know, I know that because a lot of us, when we were sick with the COVID, we couldn't move for like a couple of weeks. Well, what happens then you start moving around, it's hard for you to move around. So you've got to keep your body going, you know. And Debbie, you have any thoughts on that?
Well, here's a couple things. First of all, I think there are some insurance companies that actually get you a discount if you're not eligible to have the free, okay, kind of thing. So I think that's a possibility. Also, Fitbits, you know, I've got a fitness watch, you know, on my here that track your steps. We'll do challenges. I know that my one daughter and Tony has done this, like, oh, I'm going to see if I can do X amount of steps in a day and really start to, you know, really try to do it. So, I mean, keeping moving, you nailed it, Lori. Keeping moving is such a big deal. You know, sitting and being more complacent, some people can't help it at times. You just want to do something you can do. Even if when you're sitting, Lori and I talked about this. Remember you were talking about that thing when you sit and you can take your legs and you can go like this? They have them for people who work at home to get that blood flow going, where it looks like a little mini bike. It's not a bicycle, but it's I don't know what you call it. I saw it on Amazon.
I just ordered it. I'm getting it on February 10th, and I can't.
Oh my God, I didn't know you ordered it. Okay.
And you could, a lot of them, you could do your feet and your hands.
That's great.
And like
That's so great.
Yeah, like I was talking to a doctor the other day because I can't do a lot of stuff because of my legs, but he said just get your heart rate up. Get your heart rate up, even if you have to just do your arms and hands.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait. You know what? I always used to say years ago, and I still hold it to it. You know, when the video games came out and the kids are sitting there, I always just thought, you know, these kids need to sit on a bike to get that machine to go. Because, you know, it would have been great, you know.
But how about any of these kids though that do have Wii's? Okay, they have Wii's where you could do the like virtual, like, you know, so maybe we should start to push that more. You know?
Could you see your kid coming home from school and saying, "Oh, I gotta play video"? Oh, sure, go play video games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ride the bike to move it, you know.
All right. So what's something that people say, honestly, that their number one excuse is they don't have enough time.
Right.
So we're gonna help you through that, okay? Like seriously, guys, you know, if you really want to get real, I see people that are on their lunch hours going for walks. If they, you know, like wherever they are, or people who work from home. I got a neighbor who he's got his earbud going on and he's like walking and talking. He's working and talking, but you can literally get up and move around, even if it's a couple minutes here or 15 minutes here or 10 minutes here. You don't have to do all of this in one session.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can break it up. Like if you only have 15 minutes here and 15 minutes here, actually that's really good to do that because you kind of like stoke your metabolism and then you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So,
yeah. Yeah. But the next one, taking care of your dental helps with your heart. You don't realize it, but your dental has a lot to do with your health. Yep. If you don't have, your teeth are not good and you have cavities and you're not, and they hurt, it affects your eating habits, it affects everything, you know? And I know for a fact that, you know, people that as they get older, that's why they say they have a lot of problems with everything is because they're having problems with their teeth. And you would never think that. So, you know, with that, you need to make an appointment for your dentist. Okay. Right. That would be great. You don't have to do it right now. You can do it later, but put it on your calendar. We talked about that last week about setting stuff up. So while the snow's blowing in the Chicago area or in the West in Illinois or anywhere else, and you're stuck at home, start getting the calendar out and put out the things. Okay. Right. Debbie, you want to go with the next one?
Sure. You know what? This one's a little bit for us. It says have a heart healthy day at school or at the office. So we're just going to say that, you know, Lori and I, like, we don't have a school or office situation, but maybe you do. Okay. But you could do it in your family. You can do it in your household. And why don't you do something fun? Maybe you do some heart-shaped crazy things, put it up around and be like trying to actually help people. But you know what? It's the exercise and being heart healthy and eating right is also a stress reducer, guys. And Lori and I talk about it all the time. How many of us are full of stress all the time? We have stress. We have stress for so many things, right? Just the current pandemic / world. And so we need to find all those ways that we can lighten it up a little bit. And that, why not tie it in with Valentine's Day? Okay. Like put the hearts all over the place and let's just spread the love. It's about getting your heart healthy, but let's just try to like help each other and encourage each other so that we can be like the partners or people that we can like be, you know?
Right.
So, with that, Laura, do you want to go to the next one?
Yeah, you know, schedule a health screening. We were just talked about that earlier. That's another thing. Call around, like Deb says, they, you know, call around for places and try like CVS and Walgreens. A lot of times in February, they have free screenings. So yeah, or, you know, make an appointment with your doctor, have your blood sugar taken, have your cholesterol taken. All that stuff is part of your health. It is amazing. You have like a roadmap of your body of what's going on. And it's very important to know because then you could figure out what you need to do to change those numbers. And like if your blood sugar is really high, you know, you need to drink more water. You need to stay away from the carbohydrates and you need to Move, move, move. The more you move, the
Mhm.
more your body does that. So,
Mhm.
and like I said, you need to just go ahead and call around, get it done, try to find it. Take your family there. If they'll take the kids, take the
Mhm.
kids.
Mhm.
Okay, and then I love this one. Create a heart theme contest. And now I can think about, Debbie, is what you were saying about the whole thing with the Fitbit and all that, and your kid,
Yeah.
husband, and kids. So you have any ideas on that?
Well, do you guys know that most of your cell phones will also track, but you've got to have your phone with you all the time, okay? Which most people do because people are like freaking out if they can't find their phone because they're not connected to the social media, and I'm number one of them. But, I think that yeah, we should, and maybe have somebody be the winner. And you know what? Maybe, who knows? Incorporate everybody in the household helping each other by creating a healthy dinner or a healthy snack or a healthy night, to do something. I do want to say one thing too, though, Laura, that you just touched on when you said Walgreens and CVS, and I think you did it. I think you did the heart scan. So I know we've done the heart scans. I've done them 3 times. Tony's done them 4, I think it is, where you pay $49 and it's not an insurance covered situation. You go to like some of your local hospitals and you go through like it looks like an MRI kind of thing, but yeah, and they like literally take an image of your heart and they can tell you if you have any like cholesterol buildup or whatever, and then they give you an implemented plan afterwards, and then they sit down for 5 minutes with you and go over it with you. You guys, it's bomb. It's such a good thing to do.
Amazing, because I thought would have a lot more heart problems than I have. And they were able to tell me that, one certain part had a lot of plaque and stuff in there, just the start of it. So it makes you be aware of it.
Mhm.
That's the one thing too, I want to just bring this up real quick, Debbie. We didn't talk about it, but women have different symptoms of heart attacks than men.
Yeah,
And I
good
won't
point.
go into detail on that, but that's something you should really look at. When you see men, they have heart attacks on TV, they're like holding their chest and stuff. Women have different symptoms totally. So we need to be, I'm not going to go into it, like I said right now, but look it up and you know what? Find out the details and don't be afraid to go into the hospital or
Right, right,
911.
right.
So with
Hey, I
that,
found the next one. Create
yeah,
a stress-free zone.
yeah, that's
Yeah, honestly, you know what? There's a couple things that you gotta like think about, and I've always thought to myself, I need a timeout, man. I need a timeout. So you kind of like go because like there's things that aggravate us. There's things that get our blood pressure up just in general. So I don't know. What's some good ideas, Laura? I could see a padded room would be one, but I know that's not possible.
right. You know what? When we lived in Plainfield and we had our house, we had our room, our living room, not the family room, the living room, and we had no TV in there. There was nothing in there. And I've talked about this a couple times. We would, if you were stressed or whatever, you went and sat in the room and it was quiet. And what
Hmm.
was nice about it too is eventually other people in your family started coming in there, and all of a sudden you start having the discussion about things that are going on. But it was so stress free because you didn't have
Yeah.
the TV that's in the middle of everything. There was no cell phones. It was so nice. Oh, I encourage every family to have that. If you don't have a room like that, take a bedroom or something, or there's no media, just sit there and think, maybe, pray. Debbie and I are big prayer warriors.
Hmm.
Have a cross in there, maybe a Bible in there, and just have that room. I mean,
Right.
did you ever see the movie War Room?
No, I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Okay. Well, War Room is a story about a woman that would pray for her husband, but she had a room that she would go sit in there and she'd write her prayers down. And it
Hmm.
was like her own little stress-free room
Hmm.
that she would just have quiet time. And I encourage anybody to watch that movie. It's amazing. Okay.
Definitely.
So, Debbie, I don't see, we have a lot of information, but we're getting late here.
Yeah.
I
Well,
Go ahead, Deb.
no, I was just say I think we just covered the fact that You should really keep up on your, annual physicals, checkups, all those things in general. Have a good relationship with your doctor and speak about it and hear what they tell you. Don't let it go in one ear and out the other, So, and I think, gosh, Laura, I think we had a jam-packed amount of information, which was great.
We did. And you know what? It just made me aware of a lot of things. Again, we put things on the back burner and we don't think about it,
Right.
Sometimes we live our lives at the seat of our pants, and we're just right. But it pays a toll, believe it or not, and I'm not saying everybody's going to have heart issues or anything like that, but you know what? Look into it, find out, get a map of your body, what's going on.
Right.
It's important.
Right. Too many people just think they feel fine, so I'm okay. But no, you just have to do that. It's basically your annual kind of things, all the different things. So, all right. Well, with that, let's just say everybody have a fun, healthy day. Okay. Make some good choices and start today. Don't go, oh, I'll wait till Monday and just really have this like rager of a weekend and you eat like crap. Okay. Don't do that. Just try to start to focus. Okay. And also, I just want to say thanks again for all the people that are like tuning in. Please share us. We're trying to hit that 1,000. I know we're going to do it. I know we're going to do it soon. So, all right. With that, everybody,
have a great day.
Take care. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.